Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. This session focuses on language desertion. I hope and expect by the end of this session you would understand the concept of language desertion. Well, when it comes to defining the term desertion, desertion is the act of leaving. It is the act of abandoning. In fact, when it comes to language desertion, it is the act of deserting a language or leaving a language or willfully abandoning a language. Another definition that I would like to share of the term language desertion is that language desertion, that is sometimes called a code desertion as well, is a term that refers to the phenomenon of abandoning the use of one language in favor of another, which may ultimately result in the death of the deserted language. Language alternation and language hybridization. I repeat, language alternation and language hybridization. These are the two processes that generally lead towards language desertion. Language alternation is switch, movement, shift. For different purposes of use, you move, you alternate languages, you use one language and the other and come back and go forth, etc. And language hybridization is where there is language A and there is language B, and you use them both simultaneously in such a way that out of A and B, a new amalgamation emerges as language C, which shares the characteristics of these two languages, and people start using that language C as a hybridized variety, and they consider it as one language, not a combination of language A and B. So through the processes of language alternation and language hybridization, what happens? Resultantly, probably language A and language B, or any of these languages, that is either language A or language B, would be left, it would be abandoned. This would be language desertion. Well, when it comes to the processes of language desertion, actually, from the sociolinguistic point of view, when we look at it, it is the attitude of the speakers that leads towards that. Attitude of the speaker towards a mixed variety, attitude of the speaker towards a particular variety, these are the things that lead towards the process of language desertion. There are further reasons for that. There are certain socio-cultural facts that are associated with that. For example, the issues of prestige, the issues of status, the issues of identity, which lead towards adoption and desertion of certain languages. Sometimes it is because of the influence of a stronger language in a bi- or multilingual society that there is a shift from the weak language towards the stronger language. Now, when the shift is complete, when people start using the stronger language completely and they do not use the weaker language anymore, actually, the weaker language is deserted. Actually, this also, we can say this is a process of disowning that weaker language. This process of language desertion is very much common in South Asian countries. We can find the examples of this in Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and all the other South Asian countries. And in fact, due to the spread of English, the local and regional languages, they are dying away, and their desertion is taking place, and people are shifting towards English language. When it comes to bi- and multilingual societies, actually there is always in every such society, there is a hierarchy of different languages. There would be certain languages, for example, English, that would have a higher status, followed by a national language, for example, in our case, Urdu. And then there would be regional, local, and ethnic varieties of language, which would come on comparatively the lower ladders of the social status. And people, in order to climb up the ladder of social status, they would desert these languages, and they would shift to the languages that have higher prestige and that have higher social status. So the situation in the multilingual societies is complex, and actually it's a constant battle amongst different languages in terms of survival. When I give the example of Pakistan, the result of the tussle between English and Urdu, and then in Urdu and the regional languages, is that the Urdu language, it has been given up, it has been deserted in certain domains of life in favor of English, for example, for the official purposes, for the government use, etc. And also for most of part of it in academia as well. Urdu has lost in favor of English. Maintenance and desertion. I hope you already know what is maintenance. That is, just to refresh in your memory, that is an effort of a language or the speakers of a language to retain a language in the face of change when it comes to into competition with other languages. So maintenance and desertion are two opposite ends of the same extreme. When we look at the case of Punjabi in Pakistan, Punjabi language is being gradually deserted. The speakers of Punjabi, who themselves grew up as speaking Punjabi as their mother tongue, now those who have urbanized themselves, who are living in the urban settings, who have settled in cities, they do not want their children to speak Punjabi as their mother tongue. And most of the times their children grow up speaking Urdu as their first language. Why? Because they see that speaking Punjabi for their children is disadvantageous economically and socially. So, when it comes to language desertion, the speakers see whether it is useful or not for them socially and for them economically, and, to give them a certain position in the society. And, in this constant tussle of, different languages, when the battle for survival, sometimes speakers start disowning a language and they desert that language.